Hello everyone, welcome to the CTV News on Calabash TV and on the Wave Radio 94.5. I am Lisa Joseph. Where the St. Lucia Fire Service Association is breathing easier, feeling vindicated for its fight against former Fire Chief Leslie Fontenelle. Reports have surfaced that Mr. Fontenelle, who had been seconded to the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority SLASPA at the height of tensions with the association and officers, will be retired from the public service involuntarily. This is reportedly on the advice of the Governor General following a review of the Commission of Inquiry conducted into the management of the fire service by Chief Leslie Fontenelle. Association Chairman Shane Felix says there has been no formal communication of this to the organization.
That we have not received any official word from the Public Service Commission on a decision coming out of the disciplinary proceedings instigated on the Chief Fire Officer, instituted rather on the Chief Fire Officer. But we are also hearing that there is a decision. As Chairman of the Fire Service Association, I have officially written to the Secretary of the Public Service Commission requesting an update on their findings because the correspondences between the association and the Public Service Commission indicated that upon having come to a decision, they would have written to the association to inform us. So we have written, and we're waiting on their response to be able to formally speak on the matter in terms of a decision coming out of the disciplinary proceedings on the Chief Fire Officer.
The inquiry was the third such investigation conducted during Mr. Fontenelle's tenure. I asked Mr. Felix whether the reported end holds any impact, given that the fire chief had been out of the fire service.
From the very beginning, we've had our issues with the fact that he was first seconded rather than other means of disciplinary action which have been taken in the past when it pertained to other senior public officials. So I would not say that it's late, but what we are concerned about is what type of decision it is that the Public Service Commission reached. We've seen several fire officers at lower ranks being disciplined, whether placed on suspension or dismissed. And so, we knowing what type of actions were committed by the Chief Fire Officer, we expect nothing but, serious action coming from the Public Service Commission towards him. So until we know what it is, then we would not be able to, speak directly to a decision coming out of that proceedings.
And despite the removal of Leslie Fontenelle, Shane Felix admits that life in the fire service hadn't changed much for officers.
We as an association have sought to sit with the current team of management or managers and to begin discussions on how it is that we can improve morale and keep fire officers motivated. But there has been no plan coming out of management in terms of proceeding in that direction. And we've asked the question, what are some of the things that management intends to do in order to raise morale and keep officers motivated? So the discussions are going to continue, but there has not been much of a change in terms of morale or motivation and officers remaining dedicated. I've said in the past, too, that fire officers have basically been, for years now, on a work to rule, in that, fire officers just go out there to respond to emergencies and don't go beyond the call of duty, and that is a grave concern for us. In the past, we knew that fire officers would go the extra mile to ensure that the public is served at a certain level. And unless those serious issues which continue to confront the department are dealt with, then that change is not going to happen.
Shane Felix, the chairman of the St. Lucia Fire Service Association.